things for granted, are not leaving any stone untouched. So we have it here in Ogun State where they because they are not applying by the rules and regulation. Do you think that this is what emulating from other states?
I think Ogun State has done very, very laudable in putting their foot forward concerning administration and also checkmating the activities of more than any amount of money they are going to make while producing. If the production is going to lead to loss of life or it's going to cause injection processes that are going on there, because you don't know where any of the violations might be coming up from or where any other ones might be discovered. So that is the first place they have to start from.
So, moving on to Lagos State, an unidentified husband is reported to have allegedly killed his wife in the Olota area of Alimosho local government area, Lagos, last Thursday. According to a report, the conflict arose when the husband, returning, had only prepared noodles instead of his preferred meal. The source said it was the brother of the deceased who came to report the matter. He said the husband killed his sister. However, nobody has come forward to tell us that it was her husband who killed her. We have arrested the husband. Added, there is no indication yet, but we cannot say that will allow justice to prevail and the district unit to perform its duties to know if it was the husband who beat her to death as claimed. When we got there, none of the neighbors was willing to give us a viable information concerning this. It happened on Thursday up until this morning before we transferred the matter to Panti. Nobody had come out to attest to the claim or the cause of death. We didn't see the woman before they could. Let's move away from this report a little bit. Yesterday or so, there were disturbing videos, that went viral on the internet about, I don't know if you saw the video, a lawyer brutalizing his wife on the street, and she was almost naked and all. Now, we still have cases like this every day. Tomorrow, we don't know, we might wake up to, more disturbing videos. Now, does this have to do with our society? Because if you go to other countries, it is not like
there are reports that also come out from places outside Nigeria concerning this.
Neighbors are not willing to speak. Even the father has not given any concrete information. The father is saying, I've already forgiven my son-in-law.
Even if it's true?
Yeah, even if it's true, I've forgiven my son-in-law. Let's look if they have to carry out of in the society, being it the fact that it is not even welcome in Nigeria.
Be that as it may, that Pope Francis, in his own ecclesiastical wisdom, decided to give permission for priests to bless same-sex couples. I think that there's going to be a schism. There will be a division not so long. It won't be so long before those divisions will be announced, just as it happened in the Anglican Church. And the Anglican Church in Africa pulled away from that of England and the UK because it does not go in line with our norms and ethics in Nigeria and in Africa.
Now, this denomination, Pope, is well respected all over the world. Like when he says something, people stand by it. And then he's coming up with this. Isn't this disturbing?
That would mean, first of all, there are, in the case of Nigeria, where same-sex couples cannot marry here at the pain of 14 years imprisonment. Are you going to? Are the priests here going to go ahead and give blessings to same-sex couples?
Well,
it's not going to happen because the state government or the federal government is going to go against them. and they're going to be in jail. So you now find out that the bishops or the archbishops in charge of churches in Nigeria and parishes go to Rome and find an understanding, and like, if this is going to happen, let it happen in the Western world, let it happen in Europe and America, but it's not going to hold forth in Africa, most especially in Nigeria. So you find either they are given a leeway, or you find out that the Roman Catholic Church in Nigeria will want to break away from the parent body in Rome.
Well, talking about breaking away, don't you think, because I've heard some Catholics say the Pope is infallible, and coming out for an idol, you know he's an idol, for an idol to come out and say bless same-sex marriage, and you know that the Catholic Church is not, just like she said, it's a global thing. If he gives a command, seeing the fact that
right now as we are debating here, there are debates going on in every corner of the world concerning the pronouncements by Pope Francis. It's not going to be taken lying down. There are countries, leave political correctness, leave being trying to be correct because the world is moving in that motion. But I don't think it's going to hold so much forth in Africa, most especially sub-Saharan Africa, where even the norms and ethics of the people, the laws of the land, the constitutions of many countries are against same-sex couples. And thirdly, it is also
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATM.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas season! Hooray! A time to make merry with loved ones, a time to give thanks, and a time to be a blessing. May your holiday season be filled with joy, laughter, and beautiful moments. From all of us in Morrison Communications Limited, Wish 99.5 FM and Atlantic Television Network. We wish
9,400 drug users have been counseled and rehabilitated within the same period, Marwa said. Musa said, we know the challenges of drugs and how the use of illicit drugs has affected Nigerian name. And when Nigeria is mentioned abroad, everybody thinks about drugs. But you and your team have turned that around. At least now, people have seen that sense of sincerity in addressing the drug issue in Nigeria. We know it is not easy because a lot of people have benefited so much from it, and they will do anything to sustain their illicit businesses. I want to assure you that the members of the Nigerian Armed Forces are truly behind you. We are proud of you and what you've been achieving, and we will support you until the menace of drugs is totally eliminated in the country. We know the influence of drug use and what it has done to us, creating a lot of issues all over the country, which is very alarming. Drug use has slipped into many places, and members of the armed forces were not excluded. Now we have introduced as part of a recruitment process that for our people to go for courses, they must take drug tests, because this will ensure the personnel of the armed forces are doing the right thing and are in right frame of mind. So we'll continue to do that and continue to intensify our efforts.
Position of the country, there's a lot of the inflation has brought about a lot of downturn in expenses, and many people are a bit depressed with the economic situation of the country. That not being a very good reason, but at least we should find a background for why the drug users use the drugs. It's mainly because of depression, mainly because of escaping their realisms.
Possible for NDLA to completely eradicate drugs in the world without fighting, without tackling it from the bank, because the House of Rep were so concerned about this, and then they urged them to go to different places and tackle these drugs from the bank. And then we also have issues in I think that was from Ogun State, where the governor finally realized that they had a particular forest that the leaders of the community actually sold the forest to some drug dealers where they are planting Indian hymns and all of those. So is it going to be possible for them to completely do away with this without tackling it from there?
It's going to reduce productivity. It's also going to bring about mental diseases that we did not initially used to have. So I mean, it's something worth looking into, that it should be cut down to the barest minimum for everybody that has to go outside the country, that has to do, that going to represent the federal, states, or local government, has to compulsorily pass through drug tests so that necessary help can be given, and steps can be taken to make sure that those outlets that they receive these drugs from can be curtailed to the barest minimum.
All right, our next story is on education. The federal government has revealed its effort to address the issues of out-of-school children in the north by involving ulamas or Islamic teachers. The Minister of Education, Yusuf Sunusu, made this announcement during the commencement of the 2-day education summit hosted by the Bauchi State government in Bauchi on Monday. Sunusu expressed concern over the unacceptable and disheartening numbers of children not attending school. He said the rising figure of out-of-school children in Nigeria, most particularly in the northern part of Nigeria, is not only unacceptable but also disheartening. There must be concrete efforts to address the reverse and trend of this time bomb phenomenon. I therefore wish to solicit the cooperation of the ulamas and proprietaries of these schools. May I also use this opportunity to call on the subnational level to come forward with a similar energy with a similar agency backed by state law to serve the same purposes. This will facilitate better cooperation, collaboration, and synergy in addressing issues of out-of-school children and grant the Tangaya School the necessary recognition and status they deserve, while this administration keeps doing the best within the limits of available resources to better position the country in the comet of the nations and redeem its image. I request that all hands should be on decks to serve our dear country from the miles of socio-economic challenges are the problems of insecurity and unemployment. Now, the issues of, I remember a time that someone came up with a statistic that almost 1 million children from northern parts of Nigerians are out of school, and then we have this report again. What do you think is really the issues? I mean, if you're talking about the tuition fees and all of that, we have in a situation that some schools now, especially government school, is free. So why do you think that children are still not in school? Could it be the environment is not conducive enough?
Concerning the out-of-school children in the north, in northern Nigeria, it's a very pitiful situation because the chunk of out-of-school children in Nigeria as a whole, I think the chunk of it comes from the north. And sincerely speaking, I think Islamic education kind of supersedes Western education, or let's say formal education in the north. And if the government has to look into this, calling the ulamas into it now, it shows a signal that, first of all, if any education is not tied with Islamic education, it might have a hinge. It might not succeed as much as formal education will succeed. So I think if they want to make a very good headway in this effort that they've already called the ulamas, you have to look into their curriculum. Look into the curriculum of the Islamic school that makes many people shy away from attending formal education.
Well, Pastor Richard Adeboye, the pastor in charge of Region 12 of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, has urged increased prayers for the country's leadership to address its various challenges. He emphasizes the power of prayer over protesting and cursing, suggesting that relying on prayer is an essential for a positive transformation in the nation, moving away from past approaches that yielded no relief. Adeboye said there is no nation like Nigeria. The fact that we are still surviving is a symbol that God has created the nation in a very unique way, and very soon we shall shout victory at last. Well, I do not want to, underemphasize the power of prayer. But truthfully, do you think that at this point we haven't prayed enough? Because I also know that the Holy Book says, pray without ceasing. But at this point, do you think what we really need is prayer, to sort things out? Because a lot of things are actually happening, from the inflation to the evaluation of the naira and a lot of things, and we're going through so much as a country. Do you think that what we need right now, according to Pastor Richard, is really, prayers?
I think doing away with the religious aspects of our existence to find ways to put some good people inside the government. So we should not just relax and rain curses on our leaders. Meanwhile, we are supposed to also lead. And if you don't know